Learn more at freedomcar.net/MPT. State Circle is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you.
She said, he said, then what did the video say?
I am hopeful that before too long, the hashtag #MeToo will no longer be needed in Annapolis or anywhere else.
Maryland's musical salute to the Confederacy.
You know, our one day to shine on national level is Preakness. What are we going to sing them?
And dollars for schools and school safety.
To put your money where your mouth is.
Connecting Marylanders to their government. This is State Circle.
Good evening. The big story around State Circle this week is that video, the one that has become a Rorschach test on the issue of sexual harassment. A state senator accused a lobbyist of unwanted contact in a bar. The lobbyist denied it, and Yolanda Vasquez picks up the story from there.
He comes over, he puts his hand on my back, he keeps it there for a while, slides it all the way down, and does indeed, as I said, graze my butt.
Senator Cheryl Kagan describes in detail her interaction with lobbyist Gil Jen, where she alleges he touched her inappropriately at Castle Bay Irish Pub earlier this month.
I shifted my body a little bit, and I gave my former chief of staff a kind of bug-eyed, like, oh dear God, make this stop, make him go away look.
Kagan says the security camera video offers undeniable proof of the type of behavior that is too often silenced in Annapolis.
If he could touch me in that way, imagine what he has been doing for years to interns, junior staff, and yes, legislators.
Jen immediately fired back, saying in a statement that with the release of this video, it is now beyond dispute that I did not grab or grope her. He admits putting his arm in the middle of her back, but says he did not touch her tush.
I have no comprehension how Gil Jen can watch that video and say that it vindicates him and his perspective, his 3-page statement, in any manner.
The he said, she said story comes at a time when Maryland lawmakers are working to address sexual harassment complaints. House Bill 1342 would, among other things, require the State Ethics Commission to investigate complaints and hold individuals found guilty accountable.
I've experienced sexual harassment here, as have many of my colleagues. More importantly, the staff here, the lobbyists that we work with, the interns here have been communicating about this with the Women's Caucus for the last 2 years.
Kagan, who sits here during the Senate, says there are many unanswered questions as to what happens next. Her complaint now rests with the head of HR, but the case can go in many different directions, as there really is no legislative roadmap to follow.
Our current laws don't cover incidents like this.
And as the court of public opinion weighs in on whether Jen's touch was a tad too much, Kagan closes her press conference with one simple request.
I am hopeful that before too long, the hashtag #MeToo will no longer be needed in Annapolis or anywhere else.
I'm Yolanda Vasquez for State Circle.
Legislation to ask voters to approve setting aside gambling revenue for education advanced this week. The debate also included whether some money should be set aside for school security, as Nancy Amato reports.
This is an opportunity, this amendment is an opportunity to put your money where your mouth is. Over and over again, we've talked about a lockbox. Over and over again, we've talked about money that comes from casino gambling and where it would go and where it goes in the budget and does it get to the schools.
State senators debated the merits of an amendment to a bill which would create a constitutional amendment on the ballot this November, requiring that casino revenues go toward education spending that goes above the state's funding formulas. Senator Gail Bates explained her amendment, which did not sit well with Democrats.
The first piece sets aside $75 million, a one-time amount that would be for capital funding to go to enhance school safety improvements, secure metal doors, windows, metal detectors, security cameras, panic buttons, other capital improvements.
She explained another $50 million would be set aside this year and beyond to pay for more school resource officers and counselors.
This is the piece that is really important. We need to assure parents and students that we are really serious about keeping them safe in our public schools.
Senator Bates' amendment is more in line with Governor Hogan's competing lockbox proposal that provides $4.4 billion over 10 years from casino revenues. One key difference between the two bills is that the governor's plan is in the form of a statute and does not require voter approval. While everyone agrees that school safety is paramount across the aisle,
but my concern with this amendment is that this becomes part of the Constitution. We don't know what the future is going to bring, and I think we need to have some flexibility in our ability to use the monies that this bill is going to provide for schools in a way that's appropriate for the times that we're going to face in the future.
In my humble opinion, that we're talking about how we harden our buildings as opposed to how we get to the underlying issue about how whether or not young people have the mental health services, the health care services they need, and whether or not we can get guns out of the hands of young people.
Despite those arguments, Republicans say the lockbox bill needs to specify or earmark funds for school safety.
Let's stay on the subject. This isn't about guns. That's JPR to fix that. This is about where we prioritize, where we put our money. What greater priority within education right now? If kids don't feel safe, they're not going to learn.
That amendment ultimately failed along party lines, but the Democrats' lockbox bill was given preliminary approval. I'm Nancy Yamada for State Circle.
The state Senate gave unanimous approval this week to a budget bill that was crafted with the tailwind of a strong economy and the steady hand of a retiring budget committee chair. Charles Robinson covered the vote.
The last time he's going to be doing this. He's been doing this for a long time. He deserves respect and attention in the body, okay? And we got to adopt these amendments.
Senator Edward Casemeyer knows a thing or two about budgets. The 2019 budget includes $120 million in tax relief. They solve the structural deficit and puts $1 billion into the rainy day fund. The chair of the Budget and Tax Committee has seen lean times when he's had to wield a scalpel rather than an axe. He's worked with governors of both parties, as well as his counterparts in the House. This year, the wrench thrown in the mix was the massive federal tax implications for the state.
I think the hardest thing was dealing with the federal tax reform, where we were going to go. Because we initially thought that most Marylanders were going to come out negatively in terms of their taxes, but it wasn't that way. So once we got over that hurdle, the rest of it kind of fell in place.
With 138 amendments, the likelihood of a hiccup seemed to dissipate under his leadership.
You have to prepare yourself for any kind of question. You never know what's going to be asked. But it's very rewarding. The committee put together a plan that people accept without a lot of comments or questions. So it went well today, and I was happy with it.
Both chambers will pass out their respective budgets, and any differences will be settled during a conference committee. The budget is the only must-pass legislation, and the body has learned that it's better to get it done early than wait till the last minute. In Annapolis, I'm Charles Robinson for State Circle.
Well, it's March Madness, and all the legal basketball betting is still confined to Las Vegas. But two things could change that. The first thing would be the Supreme Court ruling that current limits on betting are unconstitutional. That would allow states like Maryland to add sports wagering. And this week, delegates placed a bet on that by approving a bill to put the issue to voters this fall. If approved, sports betting would be allowed at casinos and racetracks. A small group of protesters opposed to the Hogan administration's decision to allow a gas pipeline under the Potomac River were arrested for blocking the entrance to the Capitol. The Chesapeake Climate Action Network is opposed to allowing a Canadian company to run the pipeline across western Maryland. 5 of their members blocked the entrance to the State House and were arrested. The same group circled the governor's mansion earlier this year to draw attention to the issue. The Secretary of the Environment issued a statement saying that any project would have to meet stringent requirements to ensure protection of public health. Lawmakers are again debating what to do about a state song with pro-Confederacy lyrics. The version sung at the Preakness each year omits the line calling President Lincoln a despot. Senator Kagan's bill would drop the official song designation.
Where does it end? And, you know, and I asked the question also, you know, our one day to shine on national level is Preakness. What are we going to sing then? What's going to be said by the commentaries?
Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Battle Hymn of the Republic? Okay. They do that already. So they're going to sing it twice?
The bill did pass the Senate today, 30-13, ahead of the bill crossover deadline, and now goes to the House. Still ahead, the political roundtable. We'll be right back.
Got an unused vehicle going nowhere? Donate it to the one place that can take you any place. Visit mpt.org/vehicles and support the programs you love on MPT.
The MPT app puts our programs right at your fingertips, so you can choose when to watch, what to watch, wherever you want to watch it. Download it now.
What happens in Japan and Asia matters to me. And with NHK World's newsroom in Tokyo, I get the news live from Japan right at the start of my day.
New ideas come out of Asia all the time. NHK Newsline reports on business, technology, and world events from Tokyo to Bangkok.
Once in the morning gives me a heads up on the competition.
Every hour on the hour, the news I want from Asia.
Watch NHK World now on Comcast Channel 268 and Verizon Channel 480.
Are you turning 70 and a half this year? If so, you generally have to start spending down your retirement account. Even the minimum distribution can place you in a sticky situation. Luckily, you can now use your IRA to make tax-free gifts. Gifts up to $100,000 will never count as income, but always make a difference. That's icing on the cake.
Make your gift for this year before December 31st. Visit mpt.org/support.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
There's a crowded field running for the Democratic nomination for governor. This week, we meet Baltimore lawyer Jim Shea.
I'm Jim Shea, and I'm running for governor of the state of Maryland. I've never run for office before. I'm not a career politician. I'm not a product of the Maryland political party or machine. But I have spent the last 40 years getting stuff done. I have run large organizations, both public and private. The University System of Maryland as the largest public agency, and I've run a law firm, which over 22 years I built to be the largest firm in Maryland and one of the largest in the world. I think I have both a fresh perspective and an experienced voice, along with the managerial and executive skills to get things done for Marylanders.
What quality in doing that prepares you for this job?
Well, to build a business, which is what I did, you have to plan, you have to invest, and you have to execute. And you have to do it every day, day after day, if you want to build something strong. And the same is true with a public agency. I did that for the University System of Maryland. It all takes thinking about the future, investing in it, and then getting it done.
We caught up with Shea at the 33rd Democratic Club of Anne Arundel County. He's aware a number of stalwart Democrats decided to vote Republican rather than Democrat in the last election.
We lost the governor's house in 2014, and we lost the presidency in 2016, we Democrats. And a lot of people will attribute that exclusively to flawed candidates or poor strategy. I think it goes deeper than that. I think our message as Democrats is tired. I don't think we're bringing everybody together. I don't think we're exuding the energy we need. My vision, my message is that we have investment for the future, that we have inclusive economic growth, that we have opportunity for everybody, that we talk about people and not policies, and we dare Maryland to be great. We need to infuse our message with that brand of energy and optimism and bring people together. We're too scattered. I'm not talking about across the aisle. We should do that too. I'm talking about within the Democratic Party. Bring everybody together.
Back to the State House now. Charles Robinson joins us for the political roundtable. Charles, at our taping time, the Senate is working late and is looking into the gun control topic that involves the device known as a bump stock. What can you tell us about that?
First of all, it's a modification that you can put on weapons that actually make them fire faster. This has been a really big topic, obviously nationally and locally, and the state literally wants to ban these type of modifications to guns. So part of the bill that's being heard in the Senate right now is looking at amendments that are going to be that people want to put on it. Several of them include everything from whether or not you should, instead of having it getting a 3-year sentence if you own one of these after October 1st, which is when the bill would go into effect, you would get a $500 fine. Let me just say that that bill was defeated. The other one was this question of what if you own one of these types of weapons and maybe you inherited it from a deceased relative? Who do you turn it into? Do you turn it into the state police or whomever? Because understand this, there are other states in our surrounding jurisdictions that have not banned these type of weapons. So you could potentially sell that to them. Well, that also was defeated because the idea behind it is that you don't want any really modifications. Here's the most interesting thing that I think in this whole debate. The question about how many of them are there in the state of Maryland. There are no firm figures on how many people own bump stocks. And literally, the folks who are in favor of the Second Amendment have literally said, well, I know a guy who knows a guy who has one of these, which makes it really minuscule, the number of people who actually have these type of weapons modifications.
So it does look like some sort of legislation is going to come out of this session. The House has passed a similar bill. It was expected that after the Las Vegas massacre, where a device like this was used to turn a semi-automatic into an automatic, that the federal government was going to act, but it has not. So, Charles, state lawmakers are deciding to go ahead.
Yeah, they are, and I think this comes on the heels of what actually happened down in Parkland, Florida, with the kids. There is a fever pitch that's going on, literally in grassroots communities across Maryland. Think about this week when high school students walked out of class this week. There is another big one that's going to come up, I believe it's next weekend, where they're all going to converge in Washington, D.C. The interesting part, you don't want to be on the wrong side of this bill or any bill that has to deal with guns. I think many of the pro-Second Amendment rights politicians are taking a hard look at this. They also don't want to be on the wrong side of this, but they don't want to get rid of guns, but they know they've got to do something.
Yeah, and I believe, without having the number in front of me, that the vote tally in the House was not unanimous. There were certainly Republicans who voted against it, but it was a very small number. Let's talk about the state song. You know, Charles, this is something that you and I have discussed year after year, the problematic lyrics in the state song and the various moves to change it. Is this the year, do you think?
It appears to be. I don't know if it'll go over well in the House. It's past the Senate at this point. And understand this, this song was actually written after a riot in Baltimore where Union troops were trying to move a train that had Mary Todd Lincoln on it to another portion of another railroad track, and they fired on Southern sympathizers. This song is, quote, the official state song. Well, guess what? Now they want to call it the historical state song. Think about this. The last time you used a despot in a sentence, I can't remember you ever using that in a sentence. Have you?
There was
Jeff?
that staff meeting, I think.
Yeah, between that and the northern scum, think about this. Earlier this year we had Roger Taney's statue removed, and a lot of people said, was that right or not? But at this point, we'll still have a state song, and it's called "Maryland, My Maryland." It's just
Charles,
won't be the official state song.
Our time is up for this week. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us for State Circle. We are back Monday with Direct Connection. For all of us at MPT, have a great weekend. Good night, everybody.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.
Thank you for joining us for State Circle. I'm Maria Feikin here with Rick Schneider. At MPT, our job is to help you understand what your elected officials are doing in Annapolis. And we have an entire program dedicated to this task. MPT fills an important local need that is underrepresented elsewhere on television. But we can only provide this service with your support. Your gifts of financial support do more than just keep the lights on in the studio. They give us the power to provide everyone in our region with equal access to shows like State Circle, which in turn give you the power to understand your local government and make informed decisions in regards to voting, finance, and more. Please, if you haven't already given us a call, do it right now. We would love to hear from you. And we're very happy tonight because a group of current MPT members have offered to match all contributions made during tonight's episode of State Circle, dollar for dollar. So tonight, your contribution is worth double to MPT. And we have some gifts for you when you contribute at certain suggested levels. This has been so popular. This is the MPT plush blanket. It is really great looking. It's our gift for your ongoing contribution of $7 a month or a one-time donation of $84. Take a look at it. I want you to see how big it is. First of all, it has the MPT logo in the corner. And just look at this. I'm telling you, it is fabulous. It's huge and so soft and so warm. Lots of people have gotten them and love them, and you will too. Charge your contribution on Visa, MasterCard, Discover, or American Express. Do it right now. Be a partner. Do it at 1-800-222-1292 or go online at mpt.org/donate.
We have a public service mission at MPT. We are committed to creating programs that are in tune to the needs of this community. Since we are non-commercial, our schedule allows more time to discuss local legislation, local business, health initiatives, and other public affairs. But because we are non-commercial, we rely on your continued support to fund this vital community resource. We have some wonderful ways to say thanks for your support, starting with, this time, the MPT umbrella. It is our gift to you when you join at the ongoing level of $7 a month or a one-time contribution of $84. Show your support online at mpt.org/donate or call us right now at 1-800-222-1292.
Sustaining membership is fast, easy, and virtually paper-free. Sustaining members make ongoing monthly donations to the station rather than an annual gift. Sustaining members provide us with a consistent revenue stream we can rely on throughout the year. Your sustaining membership will also help MPT save on mailings and other administrative costs, allowing more of your dollars to directly support the programming you love. Become a sustaining member today for as little as $5, $10, or $25 a month, and never receive another membership renewal notice in the mail. This is how it works. Your contribution is automatically deducted from your bank account or credit card each month. You set the amount and you decide when to stop or change your giving level. It's that easy.
MPT is one of the few places where you can still find quality programming that treats you as a citizen, not as a consumer. And that's what MPT is all about. And that is why we believe that you should become an active MPT member. Being an active member does not mean large donations and countless hours of volunteer work. Not at all. Instead, being a member all starts with one phone call and your donation in whatever amount works best for you. That's really all it takes. A lot of members have found that an ongoing monthly gift of $10, $15, or $20 is more convenient for their budget. This is known as our sustaining membership, and it's the easiest, most practical way for you to support high-quality journalism and other programming right here at MPT. Please give us a call at 1-800-222-1292 or go online at mpt.org/donate.
So thank you for tuning in and supporting MPT Original Productions. And if you've made a gift of support, thank you for that. If you have not yet made that gift, a reminder that now is more important than ever, a great opportunity to do it because of our Member Challenge. What that means is that all pledges during this break will be matched dollar for dollar. So if you're giving a $60 contribution, it's worth $120 to MPT. If you've ever thought about making a contribution to MPT, now is the time to get started. In just a matter of a few minutes, you can do your part to maintain all of your favorite programs throughout the year, including the local, national, and international reporting you depend on every day. The PBS NewsHour is a national program. State Circle keeps you up to date on what happens in Annapolis. All of it is public television, all of it is on MPT, and all of it is made possible through your support. Thank you for that gift. If you haven't done it yet, now is a great time to do it and take advantage of that member challenge. Thank you.
TV Worth Watching is supported by the members of MPT and by
the University of the District of Columbia honors women of excellence for their outstanding contributions and leadership during Women's History Month. Learn more about these extraordinary women at www.udc.edu.
Solar Energy World, a local company offering clean, renewable energy options. To learn more about the benefits of solar and the difference between a power purchase agreement and a purchase, visit solarenergyworld.tv today, because tomorrow matters.
Artworks is MPT's weekly on-air arts salon.
My motivation is a very personal one.
Get the insider track on artists